Just with that, we can don't waste any time. Let's jump right into it. Game day is going to Oklahoma for Tennessee, Oklahoma. Game of the week, right? Two teams that have been pretty high powered this year so far. So Tennessee 7-point favorites, which if I remember this right, I think it's the first time in almost 30 years that Oklahoma has been down in the spread this much at home. Has been underdogs by this much at home. So that's a pretty big a pretty big knock on Oklahoma. So we'll see if they can cover that. They've been solid at playing defense so far this year. Brent Venables is doing a lot of work with that defense, and they're only giving up just over 11 points per game, and they already have 10 forced turnovers. So Tennessee hasn't really seen this yet. NC State's defense wasn't as good at bringing pressure like I think Oklahoma's will be. So it'll be a different look for Tennessee. I think the big story is the Tennessee offense versus Oklahoma defense, but both ways are going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, and what we see from Brent Venables' defenses have always been super impressive. Danny Stutzman is wasting no time adjusting to the SEC right now. Their starting linebacker, star NIL player. He's second in the SEC in tackles, and he's leading this super stout defense. On the rushing side, they only give up 77 yards a game. But on the offensive side, you have the second highest yards per game offense in Tennessee, and that features Dylan Sampson, who Oklahoma has not seen the likes of. He is absolutely tearing it up this year. It's him and the Arkansas running back competing for top RB right now in the conference. But Dylan Sampson will certainly pose a lot of challenges. What Nico can do on the ground and the air will certainly pose a lot of challenges as well in this game. And it'll be a fun matchup. I'm thinking in some ways it reminds me of the LSU South Carolina matchup, where a really tough defense is matching up with 3-game resume, but a high-powered offense in Tennessee who is averaging, over 630 yards a game on the offensive side. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, the two all-stars, they got Nico, they got Dylan Sampson. Even Deshaun Bishop back there behind Dylan Sampson has been playing well. The thing that I really was high on in Tennessee, and I mentioned this when we talked about them playing NC State, is how good they are. It sounds simple, how good they are at getting guys in positions to move the chains. The routes that they run, the layers to their passing game, it puts people in positions to get first downs. They're averaging 8.1 yards per play. So for someone like Oklahoma on defense, who is a little bit more swarming, it's going to be an interesting combination if Tennessee can keep up that pace of play. But when you're on the road, taking the crowd out of it, getting consistent first downs, I think that's going to be the biggest side. The matchup there is pretty even to me. Tennessee's offense, Oklahoma defense, they've been playing well, although giving up points to Tulane, and giving up points to Houston. So they have been a little bit weaker there. The question mark is can Oklahoma's offense keep up with Tennessee's defense? So Tennessee right now, third in college football for points given up per game. They're only behind Ole Miss and Ohio State. They give up only 4.3 points per game. Jackson Arnold is kind of the guy doing it all now for Oklahoma. Passing, he's their leading rusher right now too. Don't know if that's going to be a good combination to score against this Tennessee defense that's been so stout.
Yeah, and Jackson Arnold has been kind of paying the price for being that main guy. He's been sacked this season 9 times. It's top 5 in the SEC, and he's in the company of Brock Vandagriff and others who are taking a beating. And so he's proven he can handle it. He's 3-0, but I don't know if he's ready to face the likes of this Tennessee defense, which we can't neglect and we have to highlight here. I mean, overall, this team has looked super impressive. The question I had asked myself at one point was, if they beat Oklahoma, are they in contention to maybe take that number 1 spot, or do they deserve to be a part of that discussion? Now, when you think about the resume 4 games in, with potentially a ranked Oklahoma win and a ranked NC State win at the time. So,
yeah, I think that's an interesting point. Like, I can see them going to 2, especially with Georgia on bye week. Ohio State's still not really playing anybody yet at this point in the season.
Yeah.
So I could see that. You mentioned Jackson Arnold kind of paying the price for it. So far, he's been on 19 designed runs, scrambled 7 times. So they're building the playbook around his dual threat capability, but there's no one to pass the ball to. Aside from Deion Burks, we saw the injuries earlier this year, so they're kind of down some receivers on their depth chart. But aside from Deion Burks, no receiver has more than 6 catches this year. And really, most of them only have 1 or 2 catches. So there's no consistency in getting guys involved. it's great if you have depth of people, but you only got one guy really that's able to make it work on the receiving game.
Yeah,
I think Tennessee can shut that down.
It lends to that. There's always magic that happens on these Saturday nights, and it's a Josh Heupel returning home game. Brett Venables' first SEC game. A lot to be excited for here. Hunter, what's your prediction on this one?
Prediction. So real quick, Tennessee to win this game is the extended drives, like I talked about. I think that's their key to the game is keeping that offensive consistency. If Oklahoma's going to win this game, it's spreading the rock, spread the offense around, quick plays, build momentum in the home stadium. I love Tennessee -7. They've already played a road game, even though it was at a neutral site. They've traveled away from Tennessee and won big. I like Tennessee 35-20.
I like that analysis. Tennessee has not proven yet this season to come out not strong. And I don't know why I use a double negative. They've come out strong every game. I expect the same here. I am in the same camp. I'm going to go 42-17. That offense is so explosive. I think it could be close in the first half. Maybe it's 17-10, and then Tennessee just puts the foot on the gas in the second half.
Awesome. College Game Day will be there. We'll be watching. We'll break it down after the game.
4 weeks of the SEC in a row. College Game Day knows what to call. So yeah.